Crowdsourced Translation Podcast is taking the stories written and spoken in German from the life of Berta Allerhand Landré, 1902 to 1982, and with the help of translators and readers everywhere, producing them in English. Come to the website to listen, learn, and participate.
We did not tell him that Jean and I were thinking of emigrating. We would have focused on this more intensely had not a comrade from the party leadership come to our apartment in early February and come straight to the point. "We have looked into your case, comrades. You are among the party members who must not emigrate under any circumstances. You have only recently come to Cologne, did not join the party under your real names, and you have an apartment that we urgently need. There are many comrades we must get out of the country at all costs. Most of them come from the interior, and they will spend their last night and last day in Germany in your apartment. The following night they will be picked up and taken across the Belgian or Dutch border." We were trained in party discipline. Also, at a personal level, it would have seemed wrong if comrades' lives were at risk and one was able to help to not do our part. In those first months, hardly a night passed without shooting in the street, even in Buchforst, which seemed so peaceful and removed from events. But here in the so-called White City, because of the colour of the buildings, there were no arrests, at least none that we knew of. This was in contrast to the neighbouring suburbs of Kalk and Mülheim. And yet, even a few weeks in, we were still startled and alarmed when the doorbell rang at 11 or 12 at night. Jean would hastily put on his coat and tiptoe downstairs to open the door. Usually Jupp Derisweiler was standing outside with a comrade. "Until tomorrow night," he would whisper and quickly take his leave. I had already made up a bed in the living room. I cracked a few eggs into the frying pan, which, along with a stack of buttered bread, the exhausted man would greedily devour. Then, without saying much, he would fall into bed and drop off into a deep sleep. The next day, I cooked an especially ample meal, usually a huge plate of roasted potatoes, and prepared a decent supply of sandwiches for the journey to the border on the back of Jupp's motorcycle. Sometimes one of the comrades, I would never ask their name, they never introduced themselves, would slip me a mark. "Take it, comrade. Yes, go ahead. I'll get a little money before crossing the border, and they'll take care of me over there." Since I had worked in Paris for a while in the Secours Rouge, an organization that assisted persecuted communists, I had no illusions about what would await them. Already then, in 1926, I got grief for giving some of the poor devils who had fled various countries to come to France more than the meagre sums allotted to them. Now that they were crossing over in droves, I could only imagine how things would work out for the new arrivals. I never saw any of our nightly guests again. By 1945 I had long left Cologne, and in any event very few returned. Most of them headed to Spain in 1934 to fight with the International Brigade against Franco. Those who weren't killed in that cruel civil war made their way, defeated and desperate, across the Pyrenees to France. There they landed in the internment camp at Gurs, where they either fell apart or, when the Germans eventually occupied the south of France, were conscripted for the most dangerous deployments.